Yo, what's up? This is Sonny from Sonny Eat Well Club. Okay, we're gonna make another slim down meal to get you ripped. Kind of like simple, you know all my stuff. I try to make it all simple. We're gonna make a meatloaf. All right. So you could do this with chicken, or you could do it with pork. I like better to do it with some beef, and I got this small little package. You don't need a lot. If you do have a big package, it just makes more, and then you got more left over to make. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to throw it right in there. Discard this. Okay. Now, 2 eggs. And I want to show you this, how this looks here. Okay, we got 2 eggs. Okay. Now, like if you want to use like fresh vegetables, it's okay, but I like that steamed frozen bag vegetables because it's faster. If you have a lot of time, believe me when I tell you this, and you want to do fresh, go ahead and do fresh. But the steamed bags I like. All right, so right now here I've got some onions and peppers. It's red pepper, green pepper, and the onion. You can see that right there, and I want to show you. It's steam bag. So I just took a little bit out, cut it up. Okay, so another one, cauliflower. Okay, steam bag. Now what I did with this is a little pretty, cool. Usually I get the cauliflower that looks like the rice, but I got the regular cauliflower that looks big before they made it look like rice. And what I did with it is, once it was cooked, I took the egg beater and beat it up a little bit. But a little trick, I want to show you what I did with that, and that's what it is right here. I took a real potato, okay, and all I did was, I'm going to show you this. This is cool. Okay, I just took a bunch of skin from, here you can look at it like this, from the potatoes, chopped it up with that so it looked like pieces of real potato in there. And, these are, like I said, these are make-believe mashed potatoes, or how I like to call it, I like to call this CNN potatoes, fake news, fake potatoes. Okay, now I got the spinach, steam bag of spinach. Now what I did with this, steam bagged it, put it in here. I put like a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I use no salt, sodium-free salt, check that out. And I put like a teaspoon of butter and mixed it in. That teaspoon of butter is not going to do anything to you. Okay, so we did that. Now, I've got my eggs in here. I got my chopped meat in here. All right, so this is not a big deal. It's nice and easy. And like I always say, if I put something in here and you don't like it, don't put it in. All right, I told you we got the steam bag of the peppers and the onions here. If you don't like onions, well, don't put onions in it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this here, put it in here like this. Okay, now I'm just going to break it up a little bit. Now, when you make meatloaf, don't mix it that much, because if you mix it too much and over mix it, okay, it gets compressed and it's going to be like solid, and you don't want to do that. You just want to mix it up enough, but don't over mix it. All right, so what am I going to do next? I'm going to throw a little ketchup in. All right, let's talk about measuring. Sometimes I put at the end of the show, I'll put up this, that, the other thing, but I really don't like to do that because it takes too much time. You really don't have to measure. This is ketchup. Now, when you buy ketchup, you got to get ketchup that it says on there, no high fructose corn syrup. Okay? You don't want that. And when you go to the supermarket and you see all the different ketchups, it'll say in black, no high fruit corn syrup. That's what you want. Now watch. I'm going to go like this. Look. A couple little squirts. Done. You have to measure it out. Okay? Remember what I told you about the ketchup. High fructose corn syrup, if you don't know what it is, it's like simple syrup. I'm sure for baking they use simple syrup. That's high fructose corn syrup. It's no good for you because of the side effect of it. It makes you hungry. You just don't want that artificial stuff in there. All right, so we got that ketchup, couple squeezes in there. Not a big deal. Mrs. Dash. Why do I use Mrs. Dash? And Mrs. Dash has loads of different seasonings. This is one that's got a little bit of everything because Mrs. Dash has no salt in it. So we're going to look. Look, you don't have to measure it. Let's put a little over the top like this. Done. All right, we'll put that to the side. The sodium-free salt, a little bit in there. What do we got here going now? Parsley. Okay? I'm going to put a little parsley in there. Just sprinkle a little bit on the top of it. You don't have to measure this stuff. Again, if you want to use fresh parsley, go ahead and do it. All right, a little oregano. Sprinkle a little top. If you don't like oregano, don't put it in. You know, I always tell you that stuff. All right, Italian seasoning, a little bit. There you go. There you go. Now, I'm going to put to the side, I'm going to do a little mix. Now, do you remember on some of the shows when flour is needed? I do not use flour because we're trying to, do a weight loss meal here. And I've said it, and I did it a couple times on the show, where you take plain Cheerios, put it in the fruit processor, okay, and that's what we're going to use instead of breadcrumbs. So from the last couple shows, you can save it in the refrigerator, okay. This here, I'm going to show you here, okay, well, if you can see, it's Cheerios. It's just Cheerios put in the food processor. So I'm going to throw a little bit of this on. Put it to the side. You don't want to put too much because if you put too much, you can't take it out. Too little, you can add. We're going to just mix it. And like I said, we don't want to over mix. So it's just like pushing it around and turning it. All right, a little bit more. So this way we don't use the flour. Mix it around. We don't want it to be, like I said, thick, and definitely not over mixed. Because that's when you're going to get like this dense, you don't want that. Okay, so far so good. Now, another little trick, what we're going to do. V8, low sodium V8. We're going to put a little V8 in here. You don't have to measure, just put, look, a little bit there and there. It's just to give it a little taste. And we're going to mix this in again. Okay. All right. Okay, it's nice and moist here. I'm going to throw a little bit more of Cheerios in there. Is that a good idea, using Cheerios? There you go. Just mix it around. Now, you want to use your hands, you could use your hands, but I don't. Okay. This is just about done. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let this sit here a minute, and I'm going to, I've got these little tins, they're throwaways, because I don't want to clean nothing up. So I'm going to spray this with a little dough stick, and after we do that, I'm going to place it in here. Now, why are we using this instead of making a loaf? Well, these are weight loss meals, slim down meals, all right? So when we plate this up at the end, okay, it's not like, oh, I took a big slice, a little slice. You're just going to take one muffin. So they're like meatloaf muffins. So I'm going to spray this. Let that sit a minute. And in the meantime, I'm going to turn the oven on to 350. Okay, let's do that, 350. We're going to preheat this up to 350. All right, oven's heating up. Like I said before, we got this little tin here. I put a little bit of no stick on there. All right, now here is just plain tomato sauce. No jar, no nothing, just plain tomato sauce. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that in a minute. First of all, let's do this here. Now, why are we doing it in a muffin tin? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, we're going to make like a meatball. And just, it doesn't really make a difference what size. You don't have to measure this stuff. Boom, plop it in like that. Okay? Yeah, don't go crazy. Now, this is really moist, and that's the way I want it because I don't want to compact it. That's why I don't use my hands. Boom, put it in like that. All right? Now, all right, let me tell you, why are we doing a muffin tin? We're doing the muffin tin because if I made the loaf, which there's nothing wrong with doing the loaf, if I did the loaf, you can basically, take a big slice, a little slice, 2 slices, 3 slices, who knows? And it's going to be too much. So when we plate this up at the end, you're going to have one of these meatball muffins, just one on your plate. Okay? Now there's going to be some left over. And what do we do with the ones that left over? Well, I only had one tin. You just make more. Okay. Or, if you want to be creative, you can see this, how much is left over. All right? If you watch one of the shows, instead of using hamburger rolls, you take big portobello mushrooms like this, wash them, clean them, toast them a little bit, make the rest of this into a hamburger, and use the portobello mushrooms on the top and the bottom as your bun. All right, now, talk to you about this tomato sauce. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little of this tomato sauce, very lightly put it on top. Now, this is no salt added tomato sauce. It's plain. Let's put it on the top a little bit. Now, we're going to put more when it's done, but this is just to top it off, just a little. All right, so let me get my mittens over here. Okay, and you don't cover this. We're going to put it, it's preheated at 350. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to cook it for about 30 minutes. Or, I got the little thermometer, you have the ones that you can push in. This is these modern things like that. When it gets to be about 160, it's going to be done. All right, so let's pop this in the oven. Like this. Okay, put it in the middle of the oven. Close it up. And we're going to let that cook. All right. So I had this cooking about a half hour, and I put the thermometer in 160. That's what I was reaching for, 160. All right, so let's go plate this up. You can see how this looks. Now, of course, I'm going to say it again. Why did we, look at this. Look at the fall here. Look. Why did we put it in the muffin tins? Well, I'm going to tell you again, because that's going to be the portion that you're going to have. All right, so let's see what we can do here. It's hot, be careful, always be careful. Yeah, we're going to put one of these right there. Okay, now we're going to get our spinach. And you know, what you could do too, if you want to add a little onion to the spinach, that's good too. It's up to you. Whatever you think you want to do. All right, now we're going to get these, like I told you, we're going to get these cauliflower, make-believe, CNN potatoes. Okay? Fake news, fake potatoes. All right? And we're going to go like this. Put that there like this. Now, this is thin down weight loss meals. As far as like the cauliflower goes and the spinach goes, you can have as much as that as you want. But as far as these little cupcake meatloafs, all right, one's enough. Okay, so let me give you this here that you can see this like this. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm the real deal when it comes to weight loss and weight loss meals.